Okay, so what I would like to talk in this video is about the mental math. Okay, so mental math is actually really important when, like in a test when calculators are not allowed, such as SAT test or AP calculus test. When calculators are not allowed, mental math are really important. Okay, so in this video, I'm just gonna talk about some tricks in mental math. So the first trick that I use a lot is when a two-digit number, I'm just gonna call it AB, when this two-digit number is multiplied by 11. So if you're actually calculating it, well, you have AB. I'm just gonna show how this mental math actually works. AB times 11, right? You multiply it. AB times 1 is AB. AB times another 1 is another AB. AB 0. So if you add them together, you get B. In the middle, you get A plus B. In the front, you get A. So that's a really important trick. So let's say when you're multiplying a two-digit number by 11, the answer would be, so what I like to call it is called dragging the noodle. So I would like to drag the noodle, which I drag the two numbers apart, and put the sum of the two numbers in the middle, just like here. So I'm just going to do an example right here. So let's say I have 25. I'm asked to do 25 times 11. So first, I drag the noodles, 2 here, 5 here, and then I put their sum in the middle. Using a calculator, or actually just really calculate it right here, you can actually find that this is actually correct. So that's actually a really useful mental math trick to know, right? Okay, so another one that actually is pretty fast, that are usually not that common, I know, is let's say that I want to multiply, um, let's say I want to multiply a two-digit number that is let's say A, and the second digit is 5, right? And if I want to multiply this again, so I mean, if I want to square this, the trick told me that if you want to square it, first you square A. No, sorry. So first you do A times A plus 1. That's your first two digit. That's the first two digit. That's the first two digit. Again, this one is pretty helpful, but not as commonly used as the one above. That's the first two digits, sorry. First two digits. And then we have 25 as the second two digit, as the third and fourth digit. Third and fourth digit. Sorry, my writing is pretty bad. I just started using this. So sorry, my writing is pretty bad. So third and fourth digit. So what it means is, like, let's say I have another example. Let's say I was asked to calculate 35 squared. How did I do that then? So first A times A plus 1. Now A is 3, so 3 times 3 plus 1 is 3 times 4 is 12. And then you have 25, so 25. Well, this is actually really helpful. You don't have to do this, 35, 35, and then you do all those stuff. And then you get the, whatever, 1225. Using like 10 minutes, I'll say 1 minute. This is just a couple seconds. You can get that. So let's do another example to actually, if you guys think I'm wrong, I'm just gonna do another example. After that, I'm actually gonna say why. It's correct. Okay. So I'm gonna do 85 squared. 85 squared, what's that? So still 8 is A. So 8 times A plus 1, so it's 9. 8 times 9 is 72. And then you have 25, so it's 7. I mean, you can just do it in an instant. Like, I have 85 squared. I just really know 7225 because, well, right. So I'm actually going to explain how to do it right here. So how do I get it? So A5, what is really A5? So we know A5 because A is on the 10th digit. So we know there are 10 A's. That's just kindergarten math. And then we have 5 ones, so plus 1. If you want to square it, that means 10A plus 5 squared. Well, that's just, if we expand it, we get 10A squared, which is 100A squared. And then you have plus 2AB, so 2 that, so it's plus 100A. Kind of see what it is. Yeah. And then you plus 25. Right? Okay. So if we know that, we know 100, so we know it's 100 times A squared plus A. You kind of see what it is right now? Plus 25. You factor that, you get 100 A plus 1 times A plus 1 times A, plus 25. So what is that? Right? 25, we know it's at the last beat. Because this is multiplied by 100, I know A has to be an integer right here because we're talking about numbers, right? And A's in the 10th digit. So we know that has to be 25. Right? And how about the first couple digits? We know it's A times A plus 1. Well, that's what I said right there. So here you go. That's another trick. So let's just conclude this a little bit. So if you have a 2-digit number and it ends with a 5 and you're doing that squared, your first 2 or first 1 digit, according to how big the number is, your first 1 or 2 digit is A times A plus 1. And your third and fourth digit is 25. Okay. So somebody may ask me, what about it's not squared? What about I'm really just doing, let's say A5 times B5. How about that? Is there any trick? Well, the thing is, I never did it, but I'm really just going to try it right now. So, using our same thing, I'm just going to expand it and see if we can get anything, okay? A5, we know it's 10A plus 5. That's kindergarten math. B5, we know is 10B plus 5, still kindergarten math. Again, if you don't know this, I'm going to clap for you. Okay, so if you're expanded, you get 100 AB plus 50 A plus B, and then you add 25. Okay, so now it's not that obvious now, alright? Not that obvious. So if we want 25 to be our last digit, what do we need to have? We need this to be an odd. If an odd times 50, we know is a multiple of 100. Because odd is a multiple of 2, and 2 times 50 is 100. Right? So now we have two cases. First case, if A plus B is even. Second case, I'm going to scroll down a little bit because it might need some space. Second case is when A plus B is odd. Okay. So, how am I supposed to do it now? Oh, dang it. Okay, if A plus B is even, that means my last two digits is 25. That's only what it really means to me. And how about first couple digits? Well, we know our first couple digits is AB plus A plus B over 2. That's not as helpful as our first trick right there. But, well, you can actually use it sometimes. I never, this is my first time even doing it. So I really don't think that's that helpful. Right? But you can memorize it if you want. Like sometimes in competitions or tournaments, those kind of things may happen. Okay, so if A plus B is odd, well, that means that is this number end with a digit of 50. 50 plus 25, we know the last digits are 75. So if we're multiplying two digit number with the one digit with the last digit of 5, you can't really make sure that the last two digits are 25 or 75, depending on what A plus B is. So if this is 75, we know that the first couple digit is AB as usual. And then if this is 75, that means we factor out a 50 for it. Right? Okay, I'm just gonna write it down. Yeah, I'm just gonna write it down. So it's equal to 100 AB plus, we factor out 50 for him, so we know it's 50 times A plus B minus 1 because we give 1 for the 25, so we have to add 75. So we know if A plus B equals odd, that means this thing is going to be even because odd minus 1 is an even. That means we're adding that to, yes, A plus B minus 1 over 2. Yeah, so that's for odd. And those are even and odd. I never, ever memorized them. I'm telling you, I never, ever memorized them. So yeah, those are two basic, this one and this one. Not this one, I'm just saying. If you want, you can remember it. Those are just basic mental math tricks that you will want to memorize them when you are later in competitions or tournaments that requires those calculations in a fast time, right? Let's say you're in a in a competition and there's a knockout round and there's a problem that says 25 squared. Well, no, that's just too easy. 45 squared, right? If you memorize that formula, you can literally instantly just slap the buzzer and say 2025. If you don't know that, you literally have to calculate it like this, right? So yeah, those are some helpful tricks that you would want to remember for your mental math if you have to in tournaments. So, yep, we're done today.